What's going on, my fellow A-plussers? Welcome back once again to a brand new episode of A-Plus Morphinominal, your weekly stop for your Power Rangers, Super Sentai, Tokusatsu, Ultraman, Kamen Rider news and reviews right here over on our YouTube page, going live today, not only on YouTube, but also on our Facebook page as well, ladies and gentlemen. So certainly thank you very much for joining us today as we're kicking off our weekend right. As we got a ton of stuff we're going to be talking about with you guys today. We've got a couple of Power Ranger topics we're going to be breaking down. We got maybe one tokusatsu element, a little bit of a fan filmish sort of slash video game for you guys to certainly keep your eyes out on. And of course, your guys' live viewer questions that we're going to be getting into towards the end of our episode, guys. So thank you very much for certainly coming through. We definitely have ourselves some people in the live chat certainly coming through today. So let me give some shout outs to those that are certainly joining us today. We got Power Rangers Ready in the house, as always, coming through. Thank you very much. Enrique, what's up, Enrique? Appreciate you stopping by today. We got Blossom in the house as well. Thank you very much. Frankie's in here also with us today. Power Rangers Legacy coming through. It's morphin' time. Really looking forward towards this episode, guys. We got Adam Perea in here, my cousin from another mother, apparently. Johnny, what's up, Johnny? So good to see you, man. Thank you very much for stopping by today. We got JB says, what? I appreciate it, man. He says, what's up? Just coming by to show support and dip out. Come on, JB, stick with us, man. What else you got going on today? Come on, stick with us, man. We got Isaiah in the house. Also, Marcelino Vasquez certainly coming through today. Thank you very much. Andrew's in the house with us today as well. We got Jordan in here also. Sorav making his presence felt. Thank you very much, guys. Ram Jam, what's up, man? Good to see you in here. Tanara, thank you very much for stopping by today. I feel like I haven't seen you around here in a minute. We got Thomas in here. Thank you very much. He says, Adam, I'm ahead. I've already seen episodes 12 through 18 from the UK. I'm so jealous, Thomas. No spoilers, though. No spoilers. Keep those to yourselves. But I'm super, super thrilled that you're enjoying it. Hopefully you're enjoying it so far, Thomas. We got Emmanuel in here as well. Thank you very much, man. I really appreciate that. And then, of course, we've got Charles. What's up, Charles? Abraham certainly coming through today. Emmanuel did say you still haven't seen episodes 12 through 18 all over on YouTube, because I know you don't like Nick's scheduling. Well, despite the fact of not liking Nick's scheduling, I am still waiting for it to actually be released. Just because I'm not the biggest fan doesn't mean I need to necessarily get my Dino Fury fix before it's made available to us in the US. So for me, no. While it's available everywhere apparently to be seen, that's cool. I'm glad you guys are certainly enjoying it, to certainly say the least. But for me, I'm certainly going to be waiting until it winds up dropping on Nickelodeon or Netflix, which I think we're going to be talking about here rather soon. Tanara says, I've been watching your Deca Ranger reactions. Have fun with that season. I am. I definitely am so far. It's been a blast. I think yesterday for the Patreon, I think we just did episode 14 or so. 14 or 15. So I'm definitely enjoying what we're seeing so far. Thomas from Virginia, thank you very much for certainly coming through. I know we got some international fans out here. I looking at my analytics the other day. It looks like we've got a big group of people from India, which really surprised me. Some from the UK also. So yeah, man, I appreciate you guys certainly coming through. Thank you very much. Let's see here. You know what? I did have an announcement, and I am going to make the announcement today. So hold on one second. Let me go ahead and get the materials that I need for the announcement. Okay. Hold on one moment. It's not going to take me very long. Hold on one moment. I really don't know why I keep forgetting this. Not that I had it in the other room, and I have been meaning to. Thank you guys for sticking by with like just the absolute nothingness going on. No body in the seat, nothing. So look, guys, it's been a really crazy year, to certainly say the least, for everybody. some things that I think a lot of us were anticipating, some things that I don't think that some of us were anticipating. Um, had no clue it was gonna kind of drop on you whatsoever. It's been eventful. It's been an eventful 2021 for me so far. Um, but this earlier this year, now, listen, this announcement has been coming. It's been a long time due. I've really just been waiting to um, get all, just feel comfortable with where me and the girlfriend are currently at right now before I make this announcement. But well, I'm trying to figure out. Like, I don't want this to be anticlimactic for you guys, but look, here's one of the major announcements for you guys that I would like to reveal to everybody. You guys ready? The force is strong with this child. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Adam Perez is going to be a father. That's right. A little onesies here, little Darth Vader onesies, little baby Yoda onesies. I think we have a Stormtrooper onesie also. But yes, so me and Cindy, my girlfriend, are going to be parents. We have a little boy that's on its way. Right now, the expected due date is December 22nd. So yeah, it's gonna be here before I know it, guys. I'm freaking out. Yeah, it's gonna be here before I know it. Listen, so let me tell you guys a story here, all right? For me, um, I've always wanted to have a family of my own. Um, me being my age right now, 39, or excuse me, about 38, about to be 39 this December, on the peak of having my very first child. It's a little intimidating. You know what I'm saying? A little intimidating. I wasn't quite sure if it was something that was meant to happen for me or not, just kind of living life and seeing what God had planned for me. But it is something that I've always wanted for myself. Growing up as a kid, I did have my father in my life until I was about maybe 5 or 6 years old, and he wound up passing away, mostly raised by my mom and my grandparents and that side of the family. My mom eventually did go ahead and get married when I was about 10 or so. So I did have a stepdad in my life from at least like 10 on, sort of thing, right? But there's always been something inside of me that's always harbored that idea of, not to say that I felt like I got cheated or anything like that, because I had a great uncle from my my dad's brother, a great uncle who was always there for me, who certainly helped raise me and help take care of me and things like that. Um, but there is something about the idea of waking up every day, not necessarily having a father there, um, to just do the everyday things with their child. You know what I mean? And so for me, because I never had that experience, I always wanted to provide that experience for someone, whether that be my own child or maybe adopting at some particular point in time. So this is something that I've always wanted. I've had plenty of opportunities in my life to certainly have a family, and it just maybe necessarily didn't work out, to say the least. So 38 right now, not quite sure. Am I gonna have kids or not? So this past April, Cindy broke the news to me. Like, literally, it was like April or May, I believe. I just had moved in like around April or May, and and I probably was only here maybe 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks, like a month or something like that. And she wound up breaking the news to me. She actually went ahead and purchased, her and her friends went out and purchased a couple of onesies to go ahead and surprise me. And she gives me like a little bag. And I open it up thinking, I'm thinking, oh, well, she got me some cool t-shirts. That's awesome. And I pull them up and I'm like, these are kind of tiny. And I look at them like, oh my God, are we really having a child? So yeah, man. Yeah, man. So yeah, Adam is gonna be a dad. Um, and it's a baby boy right now. I think we have decided on a name. I'm gonna wait for her to see when she wants to go ahead and announce to everybody the name of the kiddo, but I do think that we've certainly have settled on one. But I'm excited. I'm nervous. I'm frightened. I'm scared. I'm exhilarated. All the feelings that you can experience of, holy shit, I'm not ready for this, because I don't think anybody's truly ready to have a kid or truly ever plan it out accordingly. So yeah, we've been doing our best. It's been very busy around here, us trying to get things in order before the child is here, because I mean, what, we got like 3 months to go. She's about to enter her third trimester next week. So yeah, a lot to get done. So yeah, definitely have to pull the trigger on some things and be ready for a child. Now, how that's going to affect my life going forward, that I don't know. You know, I clearly love doing what I do here for A Plus More Phenomenal and all my YouTube content that I create. So there will certainly be a part of me that will certainly do my best to continue along doing this, while at the same time trying to juggle fatherhood. But I don't know what that experience is going to be like for me. You know, I don't know if it's going to be a case of like, man, you know, I just want to give up everything and just spend every waking moment in time with my child, or if I'm still going to try and do my best to carve out some time during my week to still continue to do this for you guys. So it'll be interesting and a very bumpy ride, to certainly say the least. But it is something that we're very much looking forward to, but very frightened all at the same time. So any support that you guys want to give, heck, I know a lot of our fan base for the most part is relatively young, but if you do have any kids, feel free to throw some advice our way. It certainly will go a long way, trust me when I say that. But yeah, that's the big announcement that I want to let you guys know, that your more phenomenal host, Adam Perez himself, is about to have a little baby running around here within the next couple of months. So yeah, man, big step. And I think, if anything, I know my life is about to change, and holy shit, is that a scary concept? You know what I'm saying? But a blessing to certainly say the least. But thank you very much, guys, for all your congratulations. I see everybody seeing it over in the live chat. So thank you very much, guys, for Jordan says my birthday is December 23rd. You know, my birthday is December 30th. Then we've got Christmas on the 25th. Right now, the expected date is December 22nd for my son. Whether or not he hits that mark, or he comes early or later, he's like right on the brink of being a Capricorn at this moment. So we'll see if we get ourselves a Sagittarius or a Capricorn here, but it'll be here before we know it. But thank you very much, guys, for all the good luck wishes and all that other stuff. Marcelina says, what if your son doesn't grow up to like Star Wars? Well, you know what? I'm gonna make him, god damn it. We're gonna sit in front of the television once he becomes of age, and I'm gonna force this kid to love everything that I love. No, I'm just kidding. I did tell somebody the other day, I'm like, what if my kid doesn't like movies? Like, is there a world out there where me and my kid just do not get along? But I don't know. We'll see what happens. Whatever he certainly wants to get into, I'll definitely support him, to certainly say the least. But damn, you gotta love Star Wars, kid. You gotta love Star Wars. Ranger Coder's in the house. Thank you very much, Ranger. I appreciate you certainly coming through. Datilla, certainly great to have you in here as well. Let me see if there's anybody else that I wind up missing. I think that might be it. If I did miss you, I promise. Jordan was in here, right? I think I shouted out Jordan Nichols. Yeah. So if I did miss you guys, I apologize. I'm sure I'll get to you guys as the episode continues. So listen, guys, especially if you're in the live chat today, do me a big favor. If you continue to come back each and every week, you love our content, hit that like button, guys. It definitely does go certainly a long way. Let's see here. All right, guys. So with that out of the way, we've got let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4 topics today. Not really a super busy day or month, a week, I should say, when it comes to Power Rangers, but a huge announcement, at least in regards to the release of Dino Fury Season 1, guys. Now, as you know, Dino Fury has officially returned to Nickelodeon. As of last week, the 18th, we got episode number 9. This week, we wind up getting episode number 10, which if anything, I might put our review back up over on Twitter if people missed our review. But if you do want to see our review, episodes 9, 10, and 11 are currently already up on our YouTube page. So definitely go ahead and check it out. Next week, October 2nd, will in fact be episode 11. And by that time, we will have officially caught up with all the new episodes that have aired here, at least in the United States. And then, if anything, I'm assuming October 9th, will in fact be a brand new episode, in episode 12, airing on Nickelodeon for the first time, and a first time for us seeing it here in the States. So there was very much an impression that we wind up having, guys, that when it comes to new episodes of Dino Fury, with the contract for Nickelodeon expiring in 2021, this December, we hadn't heard anything from Netflix all Power Month long. One of the things that we talked about was like, look, if they don't make an announcement by the beginning of October, or at least, for Power Month, then if anything, I'm just going to assume that we're going to be getting all the episodes here for Nickelodeon. And it seems as though this September, they decided to go ahead and give us a reveal that, listen, if you've been waiting around for the Nickelodeon episodes to drop and get your new episodes, you're not going to have to wait that long. In fact, you're not even going to have to wait for Nickelodeon, because guess what? Dino Fury Season 1 is officially coming to Netflix, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. Now, this is the photo from when we first got the news back in, like, what was it, June, I believe it was, when episodes 9, 10, and 11 wind up dropping. But this seems official that we're going to be getting ourselves the second half of, I should say, Dino Fury Season 1 on Netflix, guys. Let's go ahead and dive into this a little bit, because this really surprised me. This actually comes to us from the A Games 10 that wind up posting this over on Twitter earlier this week. Let's see if I can go ahead and pull this up. Give me one second here. There we go. The A Games 10, he says, did they make a mistake and put Dino Fury in this list? Past years, the first 8 episodes were on this exact date. But if true, and it's not mistaken, then episodes 12 through 22 will be dropping this upcoming October. Now, over on comicbook.com, it says, ready for streaming in October. Here's a full list of everything hitting Netflix next month. Now, I don't know if this is something that comicbook.com does in regards to, they do their own research and they put this list together, or if this is sort of like a solicitation every month that Netflix provides to maybe some of the bigger websites out there to give them an idea as to exactly what's coming from Netflix. So anytime we get like a listing of what's coming for a particular month, I'm very much under the impression that that tends to be solicitation from the streaming service itself to other websites, so that we can get the opportunity to see what else is certainly coming. So I very much believe, even though the website is comicbook.com, I very much do believe that this is information coming from Netflix themselves. I could be wrong. If I am wrong, go ahead and comment in the comment section box below. But I do believe that this is something that Netflix winds up actually putting together. So let's go ahead and dive into this article. So that they plan on having a Dino Fury. So yeah, every movie and TV show airing in October of this year. So let's see. Let's go ahead and scroll down. So it's like in the teens, I believe. October 7th, 9th, no. Okay, now we're in the 11th, 12th. Something tells me like the 18th or 19th. Let me see. 15th. There we go. Boom. October 15th. Power Rangers Dino Fury Season 1 right there, ladies and gentlemen. October 15th. What does that come out to? So October 15th will land on a Friday, no less. So remember, October 2nd on Nickelodeon will be episode 11. October 9th on Nickelodeon will be a new episode in episode 12. And then the following week, October 15th, it seems as though Netflix is going to go ahead and drop all the episodes for the remainder of season 1 over on Netflix. So that's Friday the 15th for you guys. So certainly mark your calendars. And if anything, I'm fully expecting Nickelodeon to still air its episodes accordingly. I don't believe that there's any other sort of hiatus that might be coming up. I could be wrong in regards to that, but I fully expect Nickelodeon to still be airing the new episodes despite it currently being on Netflix by the time it winds up airing on the 15th. So yeah, I mean, right now it feels very much as though Nickelodeon is just sort of, doing whatever it has to do in regards to wrapping up its contract. There's probably clearly no negotiations. We've already heard from Chance Perez in the past that season 2 entirely is going to be over on Netflix. So if anything, Nickelodeon is just playing it by the book as it has all year long, continuing along with their release schedule as though nothing else is certainly happening. But it does seem as though the movement to have Netflix have the entirety of season 1 of Dino Fury up there before the year ends is something that we at least predicted here. Now, I was very much under the impression Nickelodeon would drop all its episodes, and then once it's completed on Nickelodeon before the end of the year, Netflix would drop all of season 1. But they says, we're just gonna go ahead and jump on this right now and go ahead and get this ready. So a little bit confusing, but honestly, I kind of like and dig the idea that, listen, I don't gotta wait all year to get the rest of these episodes. It feels very much like season 1 will in fact be completed. So I'm fully expecting episodes 12 through 22 to go ahead and be released this October 15th. And if anything, I would just recommend maybe just watching out for the Power Rangers official Twitter page along with their official Facebook page, because I do fully expect before maybe sometime in October, probably nothing before then. It would not surprise me if this October, if they do release sort of like an official image, an official graphic, or an official message just saying that, yeah, if you want to catch the remainder of season 1, you've got your options. You can maybe watch it on Nickelodeon week to week, or you can certainly go ahead and check it out all on Netflix. If anything, I do wonder what this means in regards to how I'm personally going to be reviewing Dino Fury, certainly going forward in October. Now, granted, the October 9th date, if that is going to be episode 12 on Nickelodeon, since we haven't reviewed that, I probably will review that as I have in the past when a new episode drops on Nickelodeon. After that, though, especially with 10 episodes, I'm trying to figure out how I want to play this. Like then the idea that we got episodes 9 through 11 wasn't too bad because it was 3 new episodes. So it's very easy to just do it back to back to back. Them dropping them all at once, I am going to have to try and figure out how I'm going to do that. If I'm just going to review it as a batch, if I should still continue to review it as individual episodes. I don't know if I want to do the week to week, or I mean, if I want to do the week to week and still follow the Nickelodeon release schedule. I don't know. What do you guys suggest? If there is a way for me to go ahead and review the second half of this season, do you guys have any preferences? I definitely would love to know your guys' thoughts in the live chat or the comment section box below in regards to how you think I should certainly execute this. I think if anything, I think this kind of tells us, well, I don't want to say it kind of tells us this. If anything, I almost feel very much like this probably will be how the release schedule goes for Dino Fury going forward. The idea of there maybe being a 2 parts. And we talked about this in the past. I'm not under the impression that they'll be releasing Netflix episodes for Dino Fury for season 2 weekly like they are on Nickelodeon. If anything, I kind of expect them to do what they just did this year with this season. The fact that we got episodes 1 through 8 or 1 through 11 or whatever the case may be is sort of one part, and then episodes 12 through 22 as a second part. Netflix is known for breaking its seasons into 2 parts from time to time. How long that sort of wait or hiatus is in between the 2 parts of the upcoming second season, we'll definitely have to wait. I mean, I think they dropped this in June, July, August, September, October. So it's like a 4-month gap or so. I'm still kind of under the impression, like, it wouldn't surprise me if they still dropped like part 1 of season 2, like in a March or a April, May, June, July, August, and then wind up dropping the second part like in August or September of the year, and then just recycle that as whatever future iterations of Power Rangers we certainly might get. So that's how I'm expecting it. I think if this is how Netflix wind up doing its first season, I'm expecting this to be the same way that Netflix does its second season in a two-parter. But I'm excited, guys. For me, this is just a changing of the guard. I like the idea of having these episodes just presented to us here, so we can go ahead and catch out all the episodes and not have to necessarily wait a weekly. And I also do think, and I guess if anything, I guess they probably figure, since these episodes are airing internationally in other places, I am curious if by the time October 15th rolls around, if they will have officially wrapped up Dino Fury airing internationally. And I figure maybe if that's the case, if they just like, well, look, Dino Fury has ended in France or over in the UK already. Let's just go ahead and just drop all these episodes on Netflix, since they have been broadcast elsewhere for people to go ahead and check it out. So I think because of that, I think maybe this is one of the reasons why they're pulling the trigger on doing something like this, instead of waiting for Nickelodeon to just go ahead and finish up its time or its contract, if you will. So it wouldn't surprise me if that's one of the reasons why they're pulling the trigger on the second half of season one to go ahead and drop as early as it is. But I'm here for it, guys. I'm absolutely here for it. Hasbro clearly has a plan. We talked about this very early on, that it was going to be kind of confusing for the fan base in regards to where do I watch my new episodes. But I truly do feel that once this season has wrapped up here on Nickelodeon, it'll be full steam ahead, and I think we'll have a much better indication as to what the release schedule will eventually be, once we wind up getting season 2 of Dino Fury. So I'm pumped for this, guys. I'm really pumped for this. This was certainly a surprise I was not expecting at all. I had gotten comfortable with the idea that Nickelodeon was just going to go ahead and air its episodes, and we would be getting up super early in the morning just to go ahead and watch them and review them for you guys on a weekly basis. But this is definitely a surprise for those who have not wanted to wait for such a long time to get through all of Nickelodeon. Now we don't have to. Now we don't have to. It's going to be provided for us from Netflix. And I think this is a great decision, man. A great decision and a great way to go ahead and kick off Hasbro and Netflix relationship when it comes to Power Rangers. But guys, listen, at the end of the day, I definitely want to go ahead and know your thoughts. You hear this news, comicbook.com showcasing that when it comes to October 15th, Power Rangers Dino Fury Season 1 will in fact be made available. And again, I think once we get into October, it wouldn't surprise me if we start having either some promotional trailers, some promotional artwork, very similar to what they did here with this particular photo for the very first half. It is one of those things where I don't necessarily know if they build up anticipation a month out, 2 months out. They clearly don't believe in that sort of thing. It feels very much like the week of, or just a couple of weeks prior, maybe they'll make a much bigger official announcement, if you will. But comicbook.com, for the most part, pretty reliable. I mean, over on our YouTube page, A Plus Opinions, we definitely post some of their articles, some of their updates. So I have no reason to doubt that this is false at all. I'm very much under the impression that this is something that certainly will happen, unless there's a correction that's certainly made here within the next couple of days, like oopsie. But I'm not fully expecting that whatsoever. So yeah, October 15th is certainly worth marking on your calendar, guys. But let me know your thoughts in the live chat or the comment section box below. Let's see here. Let's see what you guys are saying. Johnny, he says, I'm glad that the rest of Dino Fury episodes are to Netflix first before Nickelodeon. And you one, I'm glad and happy, and it's about time. Yeah, it's definitely about time. I'm really pumped to get through the remainder of this first season for sure. Shadow Nova Productions in the house. Thank you very much, Shadow Nova, for certainly coming through. Isaiah does ask, do you think Donald Fever, Dino Fury will be appearing on Netflix first or Nickelodeon? What are your predictions? Yeah, no, I mean, it feels very much like we might get a brand new episode on Nickelodeon first, with episode 12, October 9th. And then I'm assuming after that, that October 15th, like 5, 6 days later, all the episodes sounds like they're going to be dropping on Netflix. So we'll probably get one new episode on Nickelodeon first. Adam, do you think season 2 will air in 2022? Yes, I do. I'm assuming 2 parts also. I am assuming 2 parts also. It may not be as long as of a hiatus as what we've gotten when it comes to when it comes to Nickelodeon, but there will be a significant amount of time in between. I would assume 4 to 5 months. I could be wrong though. I could be wrong though. I could be wrong though. There are, like, I think some of the competition shows that Netflix has, those do air weekly. But I think just based off of how they've executed the first half of Dino Fury on Netflix, I'm getting vibes at least in a two-parter. But we'll see what if they change their mind. Jordan says maybe 2 or 3 episodes a week. If it was on another streaming service, maybe. Because I know HBO Max is really well known for doing that, dropping 3 episodes maybe at a time, or dropping the first 3 episodes at once and then trickling it out weekly. I think Amazon Prime probably does that. Also, Hulu might do that. Netflix, I feel like I don't know if I've ever seen that with Netflix in a sense. I usually see them drop them all at once in 2 parts. Or again, if it's been like a challenge show or a some sort of competition show, then they might do it sort of weekly. So I am under the impression that it will be released in 2 parts. But again, that's just nothing's been confirmed. That's just my own speculation. What's up, Brian? Appreciate you coming through. Thank you very much. Yeah, if you guys haven't had the opportunity to get your Netflix account up and running, I would highly recommend it. The A game says, Adam, can I DM you something? Yes, you can. It's about Dino Fury on Nick's website. I think you can have it in this episode as a bit of a last story. Yeah, feel free to shoot it my way. Power Rangers Legacy. That people leave Simon Bennett alone this week. It's been quiet. Yeah, I think so. Power Rangers Legacy says, I'll happily skip the Nickelodeon airings of episodes 12, 13, and 14 for Netflix. What about the rest of the season, though? You going to go back and forth? Tatilla says, Dino Fury being on Netflix is great. No more waking up at 8 a.m. on Saturday. Amen to that, Tatilla, for sure. Amen to that. Because me being 38, listen, 8 a.m. is not a time I want to wake up ever. It's something I'm probably going to have to clearly get used to now, though, with the kiddo on the way. I'm pretty sure my ass is going to be up plenty of hours during the day and night, to certainly say the least. So maybe now was the perfect time for me to watch Dino Fury at 8 a.m. So I have something to watch while I'm up with this baby. Adam says, I could definitely enjoy a small break after season 1. Season 2 was not too far from now. I mean, we don't necessarily even have a release schedule yet for season 2. I would assume that they probably would return for a season 2 the same time they probably would have returned around for Nickelodeon, which I think would have probably been like March or April. So I think that's why I'm sticking with probably that being the release time. Brian, is Dino Fury seasons 2, episodes 1 through 11 going to be date on Netflix on February or June? Those are like 2 completely really spaced out months. There's no date yet as to when season 2 will be dropping on Netflix. There's no official date. If anything, I would just say go off of maybe what the release schedule has been like on Nickelodeon whenever a season 2 has dropped in the past. So the A Games 10. Let me see here. Oh, that was sent from okay. He says, "Hey Adam, I have noticed the past week that Nick's website has not uploaded episode 9 of Dino Fury. I contacted Viacom via the Nick app about it, and they replied with basically confirmation that Nick's contract has actually expired for streaming on Nick app. Bit of a last story for you if you want to cover it. Interesting, interesting. So." Yeah, I think that's one of the. I think that's what we talked about because I think we mentioned that last time. Did wasn't there some issues in the past about some of the other Dino Fury episodes at one point in time not popping up? I want to say back in June when the Netflix episodes dropped, that there was something weird about like that you couldn't get the other Dino Fury episodes any longer on Nickelodeon. I don't know if they had ever corrected that, but that would make sense. That would make sense. The idea that they don't have the streaming rights anymore. That's probably why it's very easy for um, Hasbro and Netflix to have this agreement that they have because of the fact that it is streaming on Netflix. So if Nickelodeon doesn't have the rights, the streaming rights anymore, then yeah, I would assume that Hasbro has to go ahead to just pull those episodes on any streaming service at this point in time that they certainly want to. So that makes sense. That makes sense. Yes, yeah, because of rights syndication contracts and other boring stuff, certain shows or episodes may not be listed. Sorry about that, but we'll always have plenty of new shows for you to watch, is what they said. So yeah, that kind of lines up perfectly. The A Games 10 with what we're talking about here right now. So yeah, if they're suggesting the idea that they don't have the streaming rights anymore, then it makes perfect sense as to why Hasbro doesn't even want to wait around for Nickelodeon to go ahead and post these episodes. There's just really no point, right? Like if that contract's already expired for them when it comes to streaming, at least, then yeah, you can post new episodes wherever the hell that you want to. So that kind of makes sense. But thank you for that, the A Games 10. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I says I remember you saying that that was corrected in the past. I do remember that incident because I think that's something that we did talk about. Was like, wow, maybe that means that they don't have the streaming rights anymore. So maybe that's why they feel it's okay. So I'm glad that they actually confirmed that. That's pretty cool. Trent says Nickelodeon is like a jail for Power Rangers. Well, no more, my friend. No more freedom. You know what I'm saying? Netflix just provides a ton more freedom than anything. Isaiah says, "Where do you think they should put Dino Fury? Do you think that you put on Nickelodeon on My Plus or Discovery Family?" Oh no, they're staying on Netflix. I'm not expecting Dino Fury episodes to be put anywhere else besides Netflix at this particular point in time. Netflix and YouTube is where it feels like right now when it comes to Power Rangers future. That's where we're going. Not to say that they can't ever collaborate with Nickelodeon again, right? If there's anything that we've heard from Brian Goldner, the CEO over at Hasbro, is that they're creating content in order to spread amongst maybe some other streaming services or other organizations, right? Like I don't necessarily think everything Power Rangers going forward is going to be on Netflix. It just wouldn't surprise me if they, because I think they mentioned the importance of taking your content and distributing it amongst others so that you don't necessarily have all your content in one particular place because it does help out um with the risk associated with it, right? I think the idea of spreading it out is less risky than keeping everything all together on one particular streaming service. So it wouldn't surprise me if maybe like an animated or something in the future does pop up on Nickelodeon, maybe a Paramount Plus or something like that. But it wouldn't surprise me if majority of the stuff is on Netflix. But keep your eyes open to see if anything, if they share it with any other streaming services that are currently out there, because people are paying for content. And that's exactly what Hasbro and Entertainment One is certainly doing, is they're creating content for sure. The A Game says fans have already been uploading episodes on YouTube, which is really strange to see. At least they've been blocked the episodes. At least they've been blocking the episodes which with redact. Oh, I don't know what that. I guess maybe. What happened with the redacted there? Did YouTube like censor you or something? um, but yeah, I mean, if it's on YouTube, for the most part, I'm just gonna be I'm just gonna ignore it. I'm not gonna watch the episodes on YouTube. If anything, I'll show my support for the show itself, um, either on Nickelodeon or on Netflix, where Hasbro can see some profit and residuals from it. But if it's just fans throwing content up there, if it was any other show, maybe. But with Dino Fury, I'm ready. I'm ready to watch it live when it's I'm ready to watch it live once it actually drops on Netflix and on Nickelodeon. So we'll see what happens. But guys, listen, I want to know your thoughts. The era of Netflix is certainly here when it comes to Dino Fury, as the contract for Nickelodeon continues to expire this year. The A Games 10, I thought, provided us with some great insight from Viacom, letting us know that they no longer have the streaming rights to Dino Fury. So that probably explains why these episodes are dropping on Netflix as early as they are, because they're not going to be on Nickelodeon on their apps whatsoever. So that definitely does explain a lot. So thank you very much for the heads up. But yeah, guys, at the end of the day, I want to know your thoughts. What do you think of the remainder of season 1 of Dino Fury coming to Netflix? Are you pumped? Are you going to watch it on Netflix rather than Nickelodeon? Where are you going to go ahead and throw your support at, guys? Definitely go ahead and let me know your thoughts in the live chat or the comment section box below. And then, of course, yeah, if you let me give me some ideas, guys, in regards to how you think I should approach reviewing the second half of this season. Um, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. I'll think about it. I'll think about it for sure. But thank you for that, guys. Our next topic for the day, for you action figure collectors out there, the Lightning Collection is in fact back in the news. Shout out to rangerboard.com for the fantastic thumbnail and image that they went ahead and created. They've got a great discussion forum for you guys if you want to go ahead and check it out. Rangerboard.com once again, but they are the ones that created this thumbnail here. But the Power Rangers Ninjetti costumes and action figures are in fact here. Earlier this year, they did go ahead and debut, I believe, for Power Month. Adam Park as the Black Ranger, and of course Billy as the Blue in his Ninjetti form. But this week, guys, they went ahead and revealed to us the star-crossed lovers in Tommy and Kimberly, giving us some really great new official photos here of them in their costume. So this is in fact Kimberly in her Ninjetti costume from the movie itself, and then of course you got Mr. Tommy Oliver here in his White Ranger Ninjetti outfit as well. I think I'm gonna really love just the headpieces on here. Now this one looks like the headpiece itself, like his face is completely covered, whereas if you look at this one, you at least see his eyes made available here. So I'm thinking maybe we're getting like 3 head sculpts, because here you can clearly see Kimberly's got one without the mask. Her hair is just flowing, sort of thing. I expect one for Tommy as well. And then this one, we've got her face completely covered. Wouldn't surprise me, though, if we do get another one where her face is, or at least her eyes are revealed just a little bit more. So, it looks good from everything that I've seen. If you guys recall from Power Month, they did go ahead and reveal this sweet ass Ninjetti poster. So we've got 2 more to go, guys. The red and the yellow have not been revealed yet, but just based off of the timing and the spacing of these announcements, I definitely expect it to the other ones to be revealed before the end of the year. So I am looking forward to it. This was always a costume when they were first introduced into the MMPR movie that I absolutely loved. I was a big fan of the idea too that if there was anything that the movie carried over into the original series that I was a really big fan of. I love the fact that even in the season for MMPR, that these costumes did go ahead and actually manage to make an appearance on the kid TV show. Like for me as a kid, especially at that young age, to know that I had seen this in the movies and it had transitioned over into the television, talk about like movie meets TV crossover that I don't think had really been done before when it comes to kid television shows or TV shows in general. So for me, it kind of always blew my mind, and I was always glad that that's something that at least carried over from the movies into TV. So yeah, guys, pink and white Ninjetti have in fact been revealed. Over on TokuNation.com, it says Hasbro has announced 2 more figures for the Lightning Collection. Continuing the iconic Mighty Morphin Ninja Ranger lineup is Ninja Pink Ranger and Ninja White Ranger. Each figure comes with alternate heads and an assortment of effect parts also. And yes, so I am also seeing, just looking at some of the toy covers itself. Yes, I am in fact seeing 3 different head sculpts. I think that's pretty cool. That's pretty epic. Both Ninja Pink and Ninja White will be exclusive to Target stores. Release is scheduled for April 2022. So a couple of months away, April 2022. So unfortunately, a few months away, but they will be made available at Target. I can't remember if the other 2 in blue and black, if they were just a Target exclusive or not. I can't recall off the top of my head, but I definitely, I'll definitely try and find out for you guys. All right, all right, guys. Let's see here. So yeah, definitely go ahead and let me know what you guys think in regards to that. The next topic that we're going to be talking about today is I will say this for the third topic today. It's been a minute since we've highlighted any sort of fan films, if you will. When we first started out as a channel for A Plus Hero Report and started doing Power Ranger reviews, years ago, there was a really big push for fan films to come out when it comes to Power Rangers. I think maybe around this time we had gotten either that rated R Power Rangers. There was also an MMPR fan film that was in the works that unfortunately fell by the wayside. A lot of projects that didn't necessarily quite hit with some of the fan base back in the day. But there was one fan film that we talked about based off of just some of the trailers that we had at least seen. And I had spoken with the creator of this fan film on a couple of occasions during the making of his fan film. I don't know if you guys recall this fan film or not, but it was in fact titled Zordon of Eltar. Zordon of Eltar, created by Cisco Davis Jr. Right now, if you guys go ahead and check it out, the fan film itself is about 50 minutes long. It's over on YouTube. It's almost at a million views at this point. I think it was posted like 6-7 years ago. It's almost at 1 million views right now. Great story. Great story. Absolutely loved it when I initially watched it. So I would recommend that you guys go ahead and certainly check it out for yourself. It feels very Power Rangers meets Star Wars in the sense of that Cisco was able to really just build a fantastic world and a fantastic history. And I love just the way that he incorporated very well-known Power Ranger characters into like a very fully fleshed out world. And I thought the story that he wind up putting together, adding politics and drama and just really interesting situations to place these characters in, I thought was just really beautifully told. So if you guys do have the opportunity to check out Zordon of Eltar, please go ahead and do yourselves a favor over on YouTube and certainly check it out. Because I remember when we talked about the trailers being super hyped for it, the special effects at the time, what he was certainly trying to create, it definitely adds to an amazing sort of tone and aesthetic to this movie that I certainly really liked. Well, the reason why I bring Zordon of Eltar up for you guys is because Cisco Davis Jr. is at it again, ladies and gentlemen, this time presenting us with a project called Cosma of Dezdar. Cosma of Dezdar. Now, listen, while this necessarily is not Power Ranger universe related per se, trust me when I say that there are definitely things that have been inspired from his previous work that is fully going into this new project. Now, for those of you who are wondering what Cosma of Dezdar is, we had the opportunity to go ahead and talk with Cisco a little bit earlier this week. and he gave us a little bit of an insight in regards to what this is. But before I do, let me go ahead and give you guys a little bit of a tease that he went ahead and actually put up over on his YouTube page or on his Twitter account. So let me go ahead and pull this up. It's just a brief tease, but I thought this was pretty cool. Cosma of Dezdar, my next project, full-size video can be found on my YouTube page. This is a quick little 30-second here, but you get to at least see some of his character designs and stuff. Clearly, Power Rangers inspired with just the suit itself, but he's clearly been working on his animation work and things like that. This project right now, according to him, is very much going to be a computer game, believe it or not, guys, a PC game, to certainly say the least. One that I was not expecting at all from him. I thought he was going to continue to go down the realm of fan films, or at least, you know, creating movies. But he's definitely taking a completely different route here. Let's go ahead and check out this trailer for you guys. I will go ahead and put in the audio too. This was an announcement trailer that he went ahead and provided. So let me go ahead and pull this up. Hold on. Give me a minute, guys. Okay. Yeah, this is an announcement teaser trailer is what he put. I do love the logo, though. I truly do. And I do love the fact too that just based off of the character that we see at the very end in his fan film, this is in fact Zordon. Like in his fan film, this is in fact Zordon. Now he does mention that while this isn't necessarily connected to the Power Ranger universe, that he certainly will be using at least some concepts that he wind up creating for, or at least from, some of his past work. He wind up saying, he says, look, he says, I moved into animation and game design after COVID came around, learning as I go, similar to how I did the Zordon film. He also goes on to say, he says, as far as a project goes, it's an original IP I'm working on. It isn't tied to the Power Ranger universe, but obviously it's going to borrow elements from it as my character designs and lore I created for my fan films, some of which I never got the opportunity to utilize. He says the best way to describe the new series is that it's a retelling of an origin story for a Rita Repulsa-like character way before she becomes a villain. So it is very much meant to be an action sort of adventure game at this particular point in time. So it looks like as though he's literally creating a huge world for him to go ahead and have some fun with. So it's definitely going to have some adventure elements involved in it. He also went ahead and provided me with some great character design work also, because he's been working on it behind the scenes as well. So he did go ahead and showcase to me some great concept art that he wind up actually kind of putting together. But he said, yeah, it's pretty much he's trying to kind of bridge some of his projects together that he's working on, creating a huge universe out of all of them. And here is also some of the other supporting characters that Cisco Davis Jr. is currently working on as well. So this is meant to be a PC adventure game, again, using some concepts and some character designs from his Zordon of Eltar, bringing them over in here as well. Very much inspired from Power Rangers, to certainly say the least. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what he's going to be able to create here. I think for me, when it comes to this particular PC adventure game that he's trying to create, for me, just based off of what I saw from Zordon of Eltar, the attention of detail, the lore and the world building that he's able to create, I think he's probably going to be able to create some really strong characters in this original IP of his, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how this is going to turn out. Zordon of Eltar truly surprised me. I honestly think that is probably one of the better fan films that I had seen, especially during around that time. So I would certainly go ahead and recommend you guys certainly check it out for yourselves. But he's been putting in that effort, guys. He's been putting in that effort. He says, I spent a lot of time working on the art and designing the characters. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what he's going to go ahead and create here. And he did promise to go ahead and keep me up to date in regards to other stuff that happens with this project as it comes together for itself. So yeah, guys, definitely go ahead and check it out. Again, Cosma of Dezdar is the upcoming title. And if you haven't checked our Zordon of Eltar, do yourself a favor and definitely go ahead and check that out also. But I definitely want to go ahead and give Cisco some shine here this week, especially because he's been an amazing creator when it comes to just some of the content that he's been managing to put together. So definitely go ahead and show him your support, guys. And then last but not least, our last story for the day that we're going to get into before we get to your guys' live viewer questions comes to us from the realm of tokusatsu. Now, listen, when it comes to tokusatsu, guys, or I should say Super Sentai in general, I've said this before and I'll say it again and again. If you were big fans of this series, kudos to you guys. I'm glad that you certainly enjoyed it. But when it comes to Ryusoulger, I personally was not the biggest fan of the series. I definitely do think it had a much better last quarter of the series than it did the first half, if you will. There were certainly some moments of really great storytelling, whether that be with Guy Sorg, whether that be with the Precious character, and again, really rounding out the climax of the story itself. Outside of that, it feels very much like a series that's just copy paste print, just a very surface level type of series where it doesn't necessarily get too deep. What you see is kind of what you get. And so for me, I not necessarily the biggest fan of the series, but I don't want to knock those that certainly did appreciate it. One of the aspects of the series, though, that I personally did enjoy was the idea of our real soldiers having masters. Very disappointed in the outcome of the masters when it comes to episode 1 of Ryusoulger, but I really appreciated the lore and the story that was attached to Master Black along with Master Green as well. And from time to time, we did see some of the masters from the past kind of pop up in the Ryusoulger series itself. But I always wanted more of them. I always felt like the underutilization of the masters really sort of did a disservice to the Ryusoulger series as well. I really thought that they would have just added a fantastic element to the series. And so while we didn't necessarily get the opportunity to see the Ryusoulger masters in action in the series itself fully, we will eventually get that opportunity, though, ladies and gentlemen, as we've got ourselves a Ryusoulger spinoff that's certainly headed our way. And I got to tell you, man, I've actually been a really big fan of some of these spin-off concepts that Toei has really established. I mean, from the Kara Major spinoff with Yodana, I thought was spectacular. I really enjoyed that. Zenkaiger has had some spin-off series or spin-off specials, I believe, with was it like the All Reds or something like that. Great stuff. I love when they do these little side projects because it does give characters the opportunity to shine that maybe didn't when it comes to the series itself, or we're using this to exploit a brand new character and really promote them, sort of thing. So the fact that they're going back to the well for Ryusoulger to create a spin-off in here where it's going to be focusing on the masters themselves, count me in, guys. Count me in. I absolutely love this concept. So let's go ahead and break this down for you guys and give you guys a little bit more of some context. to this story. This comes to us from Toku the Tokusatsu Network, ladies and gentlemen. It says Ryusoulger prequel spinoff officially announced. It says it's titled The Legacy of the Master's Soul, which will be premiering on the Toei Tokusatsu fan club October 17th, guys. October 17th, which I believe will be a Sunday. It says on September 12th, Toei announced a prequel spinoff to the 2019-20 Super Sentai series, Kishiryu Sentai Ryusoulger. This spinoff, The Legacy of the Master Souls, serves as an episode 0 taking place prior to the start of the television series. The story of the Legacy of the Masters is centered on Master Red, Blue, and Pink, the mentors of Ko, Melt, and Asuna. The 5 main Ryusoulgers will also appear in this special. So don't worry, fans of Toho or Bamba. They definitely will be in here also. It says Master Red Sr. will be played by Kenji Matsuda, a Toei Tokusatsu veteran who appeared in both Kamen Rider Hibiki and Kamen Rider Kiva. We also have Kanon Hanakagi will play Asuka, another pupil of Master Pink. Fans might recognize her as Team Gaim's Chucky from Kamen Rider Gaim. Researching the Real Souls is Master Blue's former pupil Mayu, played by Karen Miyazaki. And lastly, Ren Komai will play Hana, a mysterious girl. Now, the trailer, I've not been able to find the trailer. I believe the trailer might have been up at some point in time, but they dropped it. But here's the story. It says, just before the Druidon returned to invade Earth, 3 masters took much care in assessing their successors to be. Asuka, confident in her strength, could not accept Master Pink's favoring Asuna. I believe they tapped into that very lightly in the Ryusoulger series. Her impatience was felt by Master Blue as well. At this time, a Minosaur suddenly appeared. This Minosaur used techniques similar to the one Asuka had just learned. Could it have been born from her? And what is the secret behind Hana, the mysterious girl who appears before Master Red? So again, it will be made available October 17th. And we do have ourselves some photos to look at also. I'm assuming this is Asuka, the pupil of Pink, which is kind of cool. I kind of dig the concept here that we're getting to see who the pupils for some of these masters were before the characters that we know as Ryusoulgers. So I am curious. I'm assuming this is the mysterious girl as well that we see Bamba and Toa certainly talking to. So I will be interested to see what went wrong. You know, if this is an action that forced them to then pick up the pupils that we currently know as our Ryusoulgers team as well. So I'm really excited for this. I think this is going to be a really great story, and I think a story that probably, if I can be honest, probably could have been told during the season itself. But it just makes me laugh in the sense that now we want to go back and build up the lore. Again, nothing wrong with doing a episode sort of 0, if you will, but to kind of fill in the gaps a little bit that I think probably could have really gone a long way of actually being a part of the series itself. I do think, if anything, this Ryusoulger spinoff will probably add great context to the remainder of the series. And that's something that I even talked about when we did our review for the was it the Memory of Souls, I believe, the small little spinoff that we had for Nada. I believe they did like a small little movie, a Power Ranger movie, a Ryusoulger movie. One of the things that I talked about was I almost wish that story too had been in the series to add more context and layers to the series itself. Because it was a great story for Nada, a great sort of showcase of his relationship with the remainder of the team. It does take place between a very big pivotal moment in Ryusoulger. And again, something that I think, and I mentioned this while watching it when I did my review, this should have been in the show. Like, it should have been in the show. And I do wonder if they're going back and doing these Ryusoulger spinoffs to add that context to the series that they know that they did a half-ass job on. So I am interested to see how this pulls it off. I have a feeling I'm really going to enjoy it, which is, I don't want to say that's a bummer in itself, but I think the fact that I might enjoy this more than I did the actual series itself just goes to show just the type of storytelling, or the potential that I think Ryusoulger really could have been, because it was a little bit underwhelming to me. Again, that's just me. But I think some of the spinoffs that they have been adding, I almost think that if we watch those spinoffs as you rewatch Ryusoulger, I can almost guarantee you it will let you enjoy Ryusoulger probably so much better than before. And I think that says something in regards to the quality of the series when you're becoming reliant on spin-offs to sort of fill in some of the gaps or further story that should have been told during that time. But again, that's just my particular point of view. Maybe you guys have something different. But the Masters is a concept that I felt was very underutilized. The aspects of the Masters that were utilized were amazing. So bring on the Masters. Bring on the Masters. I want to continue to learn this lore and see how this kind of all comes together for the Ryusoulger series itself. So October 17th, guys, on the Toei Tokusatsu Fan Club YouTube page, they will in fact be dropping this, same way that they went ahead and dropped the Yodana special. So once this does become available for English subtitles, we will in fact be having it as a review here on the channel for you guys. So certainly go ahead and look forward to that. Let me see if you guys are saying anything in regards to let's see what you guys are saying in regards to this. Um Power Rangers Ready says Ryusoulger still my favorite Sentai as of recent. Don't at me. No, I'm not gonna at you, Power Ranger. I'm not gonna at you. I promise. Hey, you like what you like. Again, I'm not here to crap on your fun. You know what I'm saying? Yuck up your yum. Just give my point of view. That's all. That's all. Um, Adam says, do you agree that the Morphine Masters and the ancient Dino Fury Rangers from Ravcon are our versions of the Masters in Real Soldier? You know, I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily say Morphine Masters are. Like when I think of the Masters from Real Soldier, I think of very hands-on approach, communicating, training. Whereas the Morphine Masters, for the most part, let's create some shit and thrust it out into the world, giving powers to people and stuff. So maybe not the Morphing Masters so much. Maybe the ancient Dino Fury Rangers. Probably. We'll see if any how they are utilized as we go further on in Dino Fury. Um, as we learn more about Rafcon and Zato and Ion's past, I think if anything, maybe that'll shed some light in regards to how the ancient Dino Fury Rangers were. Who knows? I don't know if we're going to be introduced to other ancient Dino Fury Ranger characters or not. But I would love to see if the Dino Fury Rangers, if maybe even Zato and Ion had masters. For all we know, maybe their masters are what we would have considered as masters here in Ryusoulger. So good question, Adam. So maybe not the morphing masters themselves, but maybe something ancient Dino Fury Rangers on Ravcon related. Maybe we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, so you even said we don't know what's to come in season 2. Obviously, maybe getting an episode where the ancient Dino Fury Rangers, along with Ion and Zato, are in battle. It would not surprise me, Adam. I hope that we get a cool scene like that. Like just from the episode descriptions alone of seeing that there's maybe clearly some tension between Zato and Ion. I do hope that just elaborates and just adds a whole plethora of lore and history building in regards to those two, and just the history of the Dino Fury Rangers themselves. So I do hope that we do get a further insight in regards to that. Blossom. For the life of me, Adam, never mention this spinoff involving that bimbo again. Juro is out of that BITCH's range, out of her league. Not a fan of the Yodana special. Or maybe you're a fan of Yodana, but you're clearly not a fan of Kakihara. I know that Kakihara despise in your eyes anytime I bring up her name. So Rob says now, if Ryusoulger pulls this prequel off, it will provide at least a precedent to Power Rangers. Maybe Hasbro could retroactively give a spinoff to the B spots. um, Listen, I will say this, I do love that concept and the idea of spin-offs and like these special episodes that Toei continues to do. I think it really does add a ton of content and just building to the series that you went ahead and sort of created. Whether or not Hasbro sort of takes that concept and runs with it too for Power Rangers, that I don't know. A little B spot special would probably be cool if you released it like on their YouTube page or something like that. Or maybe like a small little special on Netflix one day randomly. Like I wouldn't mind the idea of going back and revisiting concepts to past Power Ranger series, or at least recent Power Ranger series. Just bringing back some of the past characters. I think that'd be pretty cool. Mikey's in the house. What's up, Mikey? Appreciate you certainly coming through today. All right, guys. And so, with that story out of the way, we will go ahead and transition over to your live viewer questions. How do you submit a live viewer question? Glad you asked. At any particular point in time during the week, guys, whether you read a news article that grabs your interest, whether you watch an episode or a movie or whatever the case may be, feel free to submit your questions over to a plus more phenomenal at gmail.com. Again, a plus more phenomenal at gmail.com anytime during the week. And then towards the end of our shows, we'll definitely go ahead and get to your questions. Because sometimes I don't necessarily get to everybody's comments in the dang it. Sorry, I was responding to a fantasy football pickup on my league. Had my eye on somebody and somebody just came in and snatched them. I should have been quicker. Should have been quicker. So yeah, let's go ahead and we got a new subscriber on our page. Thank you very much, Common Rider, for joining A Plus More Phenomenal. Let's see here. Dino Fury Victory. Is that what you wanted to hear? Let's see here. All right. Let me go ahead and pull up these questions from you guys today. Oh, we got quite a few. L'Oreal, we'll start off with yours, L'Oreal. Since Saban hasn't made Power Rangers out of the first Sentai seasons before Zoo Ranger, what you think of them as a Galactic Council members? That's pretty cool. I kind of dig that idea. Yeah, I'd be down for that. Remember when Astronema killed the Flashmen in the comics? Yep. What if the Flashmen she killed were decoys? Ooh, interesting. I would love to see the Flashmen come back. If I'm not mistaken, I believe one of them does survive. I believe Green Flashman manages to escape, if I'm not mistaken. So I am kind of curious to see where his path winds up leading him. Congrats on the new baby. Thank you very much. My first child. I have no idea what I'm doing, but we'll see. I mean, look, I've had a dog for the past 11 years. She's doing just fine. She's a little plump around the edges, but she's alive. So clearly I'm doing something right. So yeah, I think I can handle this. I think me and the girlfriend got this in the bag. If it's okay, my friend and I gave the unadapted Sentai some Power Ranger names. If you'd like to hear them, hey, go for it. Go for it for sure. Let's see here. Marcelino Vasquez. I know you sent me two. I don't know if it was the same. Let me just see. Just make sure it's if it's the same. Okay, I believe it's the same. Is this one longer? It does look a little bit longer. Okay. I'll go with a more recent one that you sent, Marcelino, as of yesterday. So Marcelino says, This is long, guys, so bear with me here. Going back to the Simon Bennett stuff. He says, I respect Simon Bennett's opinions on Q Ranger and Lupin Ranger versus Pat Ranger not being adapted. But I do have a few problems with Lupin Ranger versus Pat Ranger not being adapted. Before we start, let me first note that not being an asshole or disrespecting Simon Bennett, I just think that there are a few things that people are leaving out that I would like to see be addressed. Fair enough, fair enough. Simon Bennett says that Lupin Ranger versus Pat Ranger wasn't adapted because today's climate's involving cops and Power Rangers can't be villains. I understand that and I accept that. However, coming from someone who watches a lot of modern cartoons, there are a lot of modern cartoons that are aimed towards 6 years old that depict and acknowledge real life topics, and they incorporate them in their story. Steven Universe, for example, focuses on LGBTQ themes that include prejudice towards the community. The main villain is an alien queen who believes that she can play the role they were born as and have no alternatives. This is similar to how some people believe that men can't be feminine and that women can't be masculine. Interesting concept that they focus on that at such a young age. We bear um we Bear Bears tackles minority problems. There's an entire episode dedicated to breaking stereotypes, and they even acknowledge it. Star versus the Forces of Evil tackles xenophobia, the entire series about a girl fighting monsters, only to find out that the monsters aren't the bad guys and that they live life like normal people, then realize that the entire kingdom wants to kill them because they look like monsters based off their appearances. Avatar: The Last Airbender is about how war affects people. There are some people wanting to stay out of the war. Some people went from kind pacifists to murderous killers seeking revenge and people's moral beliefs that are constantly challenged. And that's not even bringing up the fact that the main villains believe that they were a superior race and believe that all the other tribes have submit before them. This can be seen as a reflection of white supremacy. Other cartoons like Adventure Time, Regular Show, Netflix's She-Ra, The Boondocks, Clone Wars, Gravity Falls, and more tell multiple themes in their story. So I find it inconsistent and weird that if a kid's cartoon can tackle these type of things and become a big success with a huge fandom, why can't a live action show that's also aimed towards the same age group do the same thing? I would at least like to hear Simon Bennett address this. And if he has valid criticism towards my argument, I would like to hear it. Listen, I'm not going to push back against any of that, Marcelino. I think you make some fantastic points in there. Very well done and very well addressed for sure. Whether or not Simon Bennett will ever will ever respond back, that's something completely different. I will say, while you do make some great points, Marcelino, the only thing that I will say towards that, okay, is that unfortunately, they're not Hasbro, right? Like, can it be done? Absolutely. And I think that's something that we talked about last week. Can these adaptions be done? Yes. But what does the brand want its show to be or at least represent to a certain extent, right? Now, listen, you mentioned a ton of great shows: Netflix's She-Ra, Boondocks, Clone Wars, Gravity Falls, Adventure Time, Steven's Universe. Hey, maybe those that are in charge of those particular shows, right? Simon Bennett came out and said, look, it's not just one person that agrees on what the next adaptation should be. It has a lot to do with what the toy side of things, the brand side of things. I mean, he went down and in on that conversation. So maybe the companies that run all those shows that you mentioned gave the green light and have an image of what they are okay with, what their brand sort of represents or brings forth to a younger audience. The only pushback that I could give you in regards to that, Marcelino, is that all those shows that you've mentioned, while clearly doing some great things and putting forth some great storytelling and lessons and really, pushing things forward, They're not Hasbro. So I wouldn't say it's inconsistent. Now, now I will say I would consider it inconsistent if you were to find me another Hasbro show, whether that be animated or live action, that Hasbro has done that has tackled stuff like that. But I'm not going to consider it inconsistent because another company decides to do it. That's not inconsistency. That's just another company deciding to do something significantly different. Where the inconsistency would come from would be if Hasbro does that for one of its properties already and is not deciding to do that for Power Rangers. Now, again, Power Rangers in its own self is its own complete brand. Just because it is under the envelope or the umbrella, I should say, of Hasbro, they could have a completely different mindset in regards to how they want to tackle Power Rangers per se, and the stories and the involvement that have gone that way. And you say, like, well, Transformers Prime has also done similar themes as well. There was an episode where Optimus Prime's pacifist nature was challenged. Again, while it is under the same umbrella as Hasbro, it's a completely different brand. So the image that they might have for Power Rangers might be significantly different of that when it comes to Transformers. Again, this is just me speculating, man. This is just me trying to pick the brains of why Hasbro wouldn't want to tackle those things. When you make some great points, Marcelino, again, I'm not saying that you're wrong in this sense. I'm just simply saying that I think those shows, one, are not Hasbro. And two, I think Hasbro probably just has a completely different mindset in regards to how it views the kids' side of Power Rangers and really regards to how they want their brand represented. It's the same thing. Again, I go back to this comparison. It's the idea of, Apple not wanting their iPhones to be in the hands of any villain when it comes to movies. Like, bad guys in movies do not own iPhones. It's part of Apple's brand recognition to never see sort of their property in either a negative light or a sort of um yeah, just a negative or uneasy light, if you will. While that sounds stupid, like a phone, really, while that sounds stupid, some people go out of their way to try and protect their brand more than others. So that's really the only pushback that I would have. But you make some great points. There's plenty of content out there that's aimed at kids that really tell deep and very powerful stories. The only thing that I would say to that is one, yeah, I personally would love to see Simon Bennett address it, but a part of me feels that he probably, or again, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I'm just assuming that it probably still has to do with one, those shows don't belong to Hasbro at all, and Hasbro probably just has a completely different mindset in regards to how it views Power Rangers compared to maybe some of its other properties that it certainly owns. But listen, Marcelino, great context, man. Great Great thoughts for sure, man. Props on that. He says, I don't excuse the trolls who harass Simon Bennett, and he definitely doesn't deserve to be attacked. But aren't we at fault for acknowledging these toxic minority fans? Shouldn't we, including Simon, not acknowledge or interact with these trolls? Just ignore them. You even said yourself, just ignore the trolls. And I stand by that. I definitely do stand by that. But I don't think it's wrong to, at least in a very professional manner, sort of address a question that somebody might have. Like, clearly he's ignoring the trolls, right? Like, somebody puts a comment out there, he responds in the sense of trying to either correct them, give them a further insight in regards to things that they may not see that happens behind the things, right? So I definitely do think it depends on how you approach it. If a troll is getting on you or is questioning you, there's nothing wrong, I think, with, in a very mature and professional manner, maybe answering the question that they have. But if they're just going to continue to keep trolling you, then just effing ignore it. You know what I mean? Like some things you can clearly tell are trolls. Some people will say something and you respond and they want to just continue to keep pushing on and on. Totally ignore the hell out of those people. Like for sure. You absolutely should. And I think that's what we're seeing here in the sense that Simon Bennett no longer wants to kind of give those people the time of day. And that's maybe one of the reasons why he's decided to depart social media the way that he certainly has. I'm sure he'll probably be back and he'll probably interact with people. But yeah, I do think there's certainly a time and a place. I certainly do think that you should ignore trolls for the most part. But I think the way that he approached it was certainly understandable. And him unfortunately being sent away, I think this is, him departing, I think is just another way for him to go ahead and not give the trolls the time of day. You know what I mean? Hold on one second, guys. Hold on one second. I'll be right back. I'm back. Sorry. I had some crazy ass dogs going bananas for some reason. All right. Next question here. Let's see here. Adam Perea. How I would redo Power Rangers Turbo, the series or the movie? I would love for you to, man, that's hella long, Adam. Okay. Okay. Bear with me, guys. Let's see here. The Zeo powers were never destroyed, so there were never new powers. It would be Zeo season 2 with lots of new original footage for the Zords. Okay. First off, I would keep. Wait, hold on. So you just eliminating Turbo? He's just eliminating Turbo. How I would do Turbo. Let's get this shit out of here. No, I'm just kidding. He says, first off, I would keep the cast from Zeo minus Billy, obviously. We see the teens getting ready for their high school graduation. Tommy is missing from the first scene because he's on the phone with Jason instead of the random Tommy became a race car driver thing. We then see Kat walking towards Tommy, showing and wind up kissing, showing that there's still a couple since the end of Zeo, which would avoid why they never go places, just the two of them, besides passing of the torch. Later, there would be an earthquake similar to MMPR season 1, but it was due to Zordon revamping the power chamber like the beginning of Zeo. The Rangers teleport with Rocky. Rocky is still injured from his karate match and tells Alpha, you know what to do, and teleports Justin in. Justin is still new to the team, only knowing who they were during the hospital visit with Rocky. He's got the new team, tells him that Divatox has emerged. The Rangers morph and teleport. Later in the series, in Passing of the Torch, which would be 2 episodes like before, the Rangers are speaking to Zordon, and they learn that their time as Rangers are running out. They go recruit 4 new people to take their place. Later, everyone prepares the power transfer using Trey's golden power staff instead of a random room using the power chamber. The 4 teens revealed to be TJ, Ashley, Cassie, and Carlos, who they'd known from the Juice Bar in Angel Grove. And then Justin is chosen to continue being the Blue Ranger. Trey would use his power staff and tell the Rangers that he could re-energize the Mighty Morphin powers for a short time so they can use them while the new cast uses the Zeo powers. There would be no MMPR red because of Rocky being injured. So we would only have Justin as blue, Adam as black, Kat as pink, Tanya as yellow, and Tommy as white. Everyone welcomes the new Zeo Power Rangers, and then Divatox sends in her minions. And before that, the original four Rangers join them with one last fight before re-energized power coins powered up by Trey then go to action. During the fight, everyone uses their sidearms. The new Zeo Rangers summon a Zeo Megazord and they destroy the threat. Finally, everyone meets at the power chamber to welcome new Rangers. When we get the scene with Bulk and Skull interacting with both casts at the juice bar, we see Ernie give Bulk and Skull jobs as the new managers of the juice bar. That way, the two actors could stay on the show. Ernie leaving would give the same, would be the same, which he decided to move overseas to form a charity organization. So yeah, then at last both casts do the famous MMPR handshake discreetly and credit. So yeah, so your your revamping of Power Rangers Turbo is just completely get rid of Power Rangers Turbo. I dig it, Adam. I dig it, Adam. Let's just turn this shit into another Zeo series. I love it. I love it. Power Rangers Legacy. Man, y'all some long ass emails, man. It says my thoughts on why Dino Charge as a whole was the best series. Okay, let me take some questions and then I'll actually come back to that Power Rangers Legacy. Hold on one second here. Um, let's see here. Rashad. What's up, Rashad? I appreciate you certainly coming through. What's up, Adam? He says, I'm back. It's been a while since I sent a question to you. Hope your day's doing well, but I have three questions for you. It's going to put all into one email, but I'll start with the first question. Not sure if you discussed this or not, but I seen on an article a few days ago that Jonathan Entwistle has become the new director for the new Lost Boys movie. It's going to be a remake of the 90s movie. And also, they confirmed him as the director. They announced two actors to be joining the cast on the movie. So it looks like they're going to be moving quick on the movie. Just curious, do you think this will affect his work on the new Power Ranger universe reboot as far as him being a creative steward? I don't think it will, but there's a chance that it could. Just curious on your thoughts on that. Let me go ahead and pull this up. Jonathan Lost Boys. It pops up. Oh, this is 5 days ago. Let's see here. New Lost Boy movies in the works. September 17th. Let's see here. Rising scribe Randy McKinnon, who is already working on Warner Brothers' Static Shock project, will write the new Lost Boys with Jonathan Entwistle on board to direct. Interesting. So he did depart. Jonathan Entwistle did depart his Willow project that he was going to be working on. The fact that he's going to be doing directing work, I'm not too worried about it, honestly. I think, if anything, when it comes to directing, it's really all pretty much going to be about. Let me see if it's say when he's gonna, if it's gonna, when the project's gonna pick up. It's all about really just lining up your projects accordingly. I think, if anything, the idea of him directing could take anywhere between 3 to 4 months for it. I'm trying to see if there's like a. The thing I'm reading off of Hollywood Reporter, at least, isn't giving me like a when they plan on getting in front of the cameras. I'm trying to find something like that now, but it says Entwistle's role certainly hints at the upcoming reboot, utilizing some of the original's darkly edgy tone. He's also a great fit because of his past work has showcased a fresh, raw, sarcastic, and unapologetically irreverent and witty form of storytelling. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything as to when it's going to be in going to be in development, but I think it really is just going to be dependent on how he organizes it with all the other projects that he's currently working on. So if anything, like for instance, right, he could be filming this project while at the same time Hasbro's putting together, pre-production for the movie itself, and maybe his time on Lost Boys, once that wraps up, maybe he'll go back to um actually diving deep into Power Rangers. I mean, for all we know, maybe he does Power Rangers first and then Lost Boys. But I'm not so worried about it. My second question is pertaining to the Kamen Rider franchise. Toei is starting to make its attempt to make the franchise more known over here in the US with Kamen Rider W anime and the release of Kamen Rider Zero on DVD. But I was doing some thinking on this and curious to get your thoughts. I personally think in order for Kamen Rider truly to be a global franchise, I think they need to do another American adaptation. I think them putting out the DVDs and doing a potential simulcast on the Japanese shows would be great, but I think it's still going to stay a niche franchise over there if they do that. Unless they do something similar to what Saban did with adapting Power Rangers from Super Sentai and making it a global franchise. Even with Ultraman, I believe I see an article a few years ago that a US production company is even attempting to do another Ultraman reboot for American audiences, and they are working with Japanese company that owns Ultraman. I believe the company is called Starlight Runner Productions. I think Kamen Rider deserves another shot at American adaptation. Do you ever see that happening one day? Kamen Rider Dragon Knight was a great adaptation that doesn't get talked about enough. I actually prefer that one over its Japanese counterpart in Ryuki. I think it can be done well. Interested to know your thoughts. Um, I guess it's really just dependent on how big and popular they want Kamen Rider to truly be. If it's a sense of just bringing more eyes to your product, I think the route that they're going now is pretty smart. I still think that they feel some type of way about what happened with Mask Rider. I still feel as though maybe Toei might be a little bit still butthurt on the idea that that wasn't as successful as they were hoping that it would become. And even the idea of bringing Power Rangers over to Super Sentai, if anything, I feel like it's just allowed the general public to become more aware of Power Rangers than it is of Super Sentai. And again, it's not the idea of it's not the idea that like Power Ranger fans don't know Super Sentai. I just mean the general public tend to know more of Power Rangers than Super Sentai. So in that extent, while I'm sure it certainly was somewhat of a success for Toei for sure, I don't necessarily know if Power Rangers here for the general public brings eyes towards Super Sentai that much. So I don't know. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know if they necessarily need another American adaptation. If anything, um, at least not reliant on American company. If anything, maybe they can create a Kamen Rider series with in just English. Um, and have it something that's aired here. And I guess it's just really dependent on how big they want their Kamen Rider franchise to be known here in the States. I think the fact that we're getting Shin Kamen Rider, the Kamen Rider W, like you mentioned, 01 here on the Tokusatsu and DVD platform. Tokushatsu, I should say. We're supposed to be getting Kamen Rider Black 2, which I think is supposed to might be simulcast here in the States. Also, I could be wrong in regards to that though, but I do think, yeah, I don't know. I almost feel like them having an American adaptation of Kamen Rider and coming over here. I think maybe yes, you will get a niche group of fans that would be interested and be like, "Oh, where was this adapted from? Oh, a Kamen Rider series in Japan. That's cool. I'll check it out." But I do think maybe the same thing might happen when it comes to Power Rangers. You create a new character here in the States, and those of us here in the States just know just know of that and don't necessarily know where it came from. But times are changing, so maybe that's something they can look into, Rashad. So I don't know how big they want their Kamen Rider franchise to become here. Definitely a possibility. So we'll see. Um, my last question: do you think with the Hasbro and Toei potentially splitting ways, do you ever see Hasbro releasing a box set or Blu-ray of the entire 28 seasons of Power Rangers going all the way up to Dino Fury? I know that's a lot of seasons, but maybe they release individual box sets just as a way to commemorate the franchise with the era of adapting Super Sentai shows coming to a potential end. I think that would be kind of cool. Curious to know your thoughts. I mean, didn't we technically already kind of get those though? Right? Like I don't, maybe because they're already out there in the world. Um, because I think was it the Shout Factory is already done all those seasons, I think. Maybe not Beast Morphers or Dino Fury though. I don't think so. I don't think so. Um, I almost feel like maybe Hasbro is content with keeping their stuff on YouTube and wherever it's available. I think it would be smart to allow them. Off the top of my head, Rashad, I would say no. Would I like to see that happen? Probably, but I don't believe so. I think the fact that they have those DVDs already out there, maybe one of the reasons why they haven't executed that as of yet. But we'll see. Let's see here. A couple other questions from Johnny. Johnny Morero's got a couple questions. Are you excited that the rest of season 1 episodes of Dino Fury are coming to Netflix before Nickelodeon? I knew the new episodes would go straight to Netflix instead of Nick. I called it too. No more Nick hiatus. Woohoo! Well, yeah. Well, just to say, well, just to clarify, it is definitely going to Netflix. You can't say instead of Nickelodeon because it is still going to Nickelodeon. Nickelodeon will get these episodes. They're just simply going to be getting them on their regularly scheduled programming, if you will, when it comes to Nickelodeon. So they're definitely going to be getting them. But yeah, it's definitely coming to Netflix first. And I'm pumped for it. I'm super excited to see the rest of season 1. I'm assuming, if anything, these episodes will be dropped all at once, very similar to how they did episodes 9 through 11. So I'm very pumped for it. Does this mean that season 2 of Dino Fury would go to Netflix? Is true. Yes, we've been saying that for quite some time. Chance Perez mentioned it before. I believe somebody else might have mentioned it at one point in time. So yeah, I fully expect Dino Fury season 2 to be fully Netflix. I know I said it before, but I still think that a Power Rangers sitcom could happen from the people who produced Danger Force and Henry Danger for Paramount Plus, and I can see Chip Lynn, Amy Jo Johnson, JDF, and Douglas Sloan as producers. What do you think, Adam? I mean, I still think that there is a world out there. Yeah, absolutely. There's a ton of content that you can certainly create and branch out from. So whether that be sitcom style, whether that be animation style, I do think that there's plenty of room to create fresh new Power Ranger content. I mean, whether or not those people are going to be producers, that I don't know. I have no idea if they have the passion to be producers for anything Star Wars related, or if Amy Jo Johnson's got other projects she's working on. Chip Lynn might have other projects he's working on. JDF's got a movie that he's working on. So it just really depends. Could I see a sitcom like kind of thing happening? Absolutely. Whether or not those people will be involved, it just depends on where their own personal career choices are deciding to go ahead and take them. Adrian Perez. What's up, Adrian? Appreciate you coming through. There's a lot of Perez's around, a lot of Adams and a lot of Perez's going around here at A Plus Morphinominal. I appreciate it. He says, hey guys, it's Adrian. Hope all is well. There any new updates on when brand new episodes of Dino Fury coming to finish off the first season? Glad you asked, Adrian, because yes, absolutely. So new Nickelodeon has gone back to airing its episodes. We've got episode 10 that just dropped today. Episode 11 will be next week. And then a new episode will, in fact, be the week after that. So that's episode 12 on October 9th. And then after that, Dino Fury season 1, the rest of the seasons, episode 12 through 22, will be dropping on Netflix as of October 15th. October 15th. So there you go. and I'm assuming that's going to all be dropped at once. While at the same time, I believe Nickelodeon probably will be continuing its episodes. I would assume so. For the Hasbro Power Ranger movie, if you could, what writer from other shows and movies that were very successful that you'd like to work on Power Rangers? Do you think that the 2017 movie would have been better if it had better writers or gave more action scenes to the cast in their suits? I think the writing on the 2017 movie was pretty superb. I really enjoyed the characters and the lore and the relationships that they established. I thought they did a great job in regards to that. But I think the movie would have been better if they had given more action scenes for sure, whether that had been civilian scenes or them actually fighting in their costumes. I feel like the disappointment clearly for the 2017 Power Rangers, I think, comes with the climax of the movie, whether that be special effects, whether that be the lack of Power Rangering and any martial arts or anything like that, was a real detriment, unfortunately, to the movie. It's almost like the writers forgot, oh damn, that's right, we got to put action in this movie. And so unfortunately, that's what we wind up getting. So yeah, no, I think the writing was fine. I think it comes to the execution of the last act of the movie that was just that really disappointed. Um, any other writers or other shows? I will say this: the writer for Shang-Chi, I really enjoyed that movie. I would personally love to see Daniel Destin. Was it? I think it's Destin Daniel Cretton. Daniel Destin Cretton. Um, I believe he wrote and directed Shang-Chi. I would love to have him as a writer or a director for a Power Rangers movie. I mean, he's officially locked up now for by Marvel and Disney. I don't know if he's ever going to be able to get away now with how great of a movie he put together with Shang-Chi. But that's somebody that I definitely have my eyes on in regards to writing Power Rangers. Not a writer, but a director, the Mulan director. I really would like to see them tackle a Power Ranger movie at some point in time. Yeah, and when I watch movies, um, for some reason in the back of my head, I'm always doing I'm always trying to figure out like what other content I would love to see these writers or directors kind of tackle. And those are the two most recent ones that really came up to me. The Mulan director and even the Shang-Chi director and writer I would love to have on board. Yeah, Destin Daniel Cretton, thank you. He also puts Dave Callahan on there. So yeah, give me both of those guys for a Power Ranger movie. Um, how do you feel of Power Rangers being Hasbro's first big live action TV franchise from Saban? I watched a video on YouTube by a guy who does full season reviews, and he says some of Hasbro's live action series were really bad and mainly animated like Transformers and My Little Pony. Um, I mean, I think they're doing great work right now with what they're doing with Power Rangers. I was really big fan of Beast Morphers, and I think they're doing even better work here when it comes to Dino Fury. Um, I would say, I have a feeling, I don't know the guy that you're referring to on YouTube, but I will say with Hasbro bringing in Entertainment One, um, and having a plethora of new people that are kind of helming their TV projects and the things that they work on. Um, I don't know if those are the same people that have worked on the content that this gentleman is comparing them to. But some of the big names like a Michael Lombardo, that they wind up picking up from Hasbro and Entertainment One over from HBO to go ahead and start helming some of these projects. It was somebody else that they wind up picking up several months back that we talked about. I can't remember his name. He was going to be working with Michael Lombardo really about the idea of shaping what their TV series and their content schedule is going to be looking like. So they're really pretty much sitting back and I'm sure taking pitches of television show ideas, movie ideas for all their IPs that they have, and are trying to push some of their best ideas sort of forward. So I guess my little pushback to that would just be, again, I don't know when he reviewed these shows. I don't know if these shows that he's talking about are under the new regime that Hasbro and Entertainment One have sort of brought in. But just based off of what I've seen from Power Rangers so far with Beast Morphers and them clearly changing and doing some new things when it comes to Dino Fury, I still have hope. I still have hope that they're going to be doing a great job. Let's see here. Let me go back to Legacy. His thoughts on why Dino Charge as a whole was the best series in Neo Saban era despite its second season. So he's saying, listen, season 1 and just Dino Charge as a whole, don't let season 2 fool you guys. He says the first episode was excellent. It was a two-part premiere where all the Rangers didn't meet each other right away. Instead, focused on Tyler and Shelby and how they stumbled upon their powers. Unlike Samurai and Megaforce, the opening theme was excellent, no longer having the actors scream their names. The way Sledge releases villains was by having them in jail, similar to Time Force. Each of the Rangers got time to shine during the first season, and even showed that Kendall was jealous of Shelby for being a ranger instead of her. Keeper being ET was weird but cool. Each of the Rangers worked at the Dino Bite Cafe in the museum. Loved that Tyler had always been looking for his father, similar to Kit Taylor's storyline from Kamen Rider Dragon Knight. The episode where Sir Ivan was revealed as the long-lost knight of Xandar was nicely done, kept Tyler's anticipation of his father possibly being inside Fury. Ivan being out of time, including Coda and their comedic timings, were well done and not forced. The first season was really great cliffhanger after Kendall became the first female Purple Ranger, and then the cliffhanger of Snide in the dark jail cell. Heckle being his alter ego allowed him to walk among humans. Even the episode where he tried to get the purple energem before Kendall could use it. Season 2 was a good start to the rest of the series. Snide being on the show allowed Sledge to be done for a while and still use the other villains for Sentai footage. The 5 extra Rangers were introduced fairly, with the highlight being Prince Philip, who was an ignorant person until he learned that Power Rangers are hero. Rest of the season was nothing but filler episodes. The introduction of Tyler's father was good, but he was unfortunately underused along with Prince Philip because of Sentai footage. The writers in Saban shouldn't have brought back the Sentai counterparts of Keeper and Sledge because they were last minute. Preferred if Keeper or someone else became the Silver Ranger instead of Zenoing. Good points. Good points there, Power Rangers Legacy. Thank you for that, man. Let's see here. Who else we got? Ram Jam. What's up, Ram Jam? Have you read the Go Ranger manga? If so, what did you think about it? And which pre-Power Rangers should they cover in classic manga? Jack or Battle Fever J? Give me both of them. Give me both of them. I have not read the Go Ranger manga. I am curious if it's just the series itself, or do they tell additional stories that are not part of the series? I haven't really did my research in regards to the Go Ranger manga. So yeah, unfortunately I can't answer that, but I wouldn't mind seeing a Jack or a Battle Fever J manga. I think that'd be pretty cool, especially if the Go Ranger one was really well accepted. And for the next Sentai series, what do you think Rangers should have? And for the next Sentai series, what do you think Rangers should have power rings as their henshin devices or morphers? Rings would be pretty cool. Gives me like a Green Lantern vibe. I would dig that, or like a Flash vibe. Do you think Hasbro should try and renew their license agreement with Shout Factory to and continue releasing pre-Zoo Ranger DVDs? The last DVD Shout Factory release was Jetman. Ooh. I don't. I think that maybe that's unpopular. I don't know. I think just move forward, Hasbro. Just move forward. You know, if you've got big things coming, reimagining, rebooting, just push forward. No reason to go backwards. So no, I don't think so. Um Doomsday. He says, I know that Blossom's already doing her own adaptation of Tokuger, but I'm just curious, how else would you adapt Tokuger? I wouldn't adapt it. I wouldn't want to adapt it. Um, um, I love what Blossom's doing. I'll let her adapt Tokuger. I don't want that responsibility, man. I really love what Tokuger presented to us. I love the idea of like a child's imagination and stuff. Imagination. I love it. I love it. Um, yeah, I don't. I'm gonna go back and rewatch the season again. I don't. I wouldn't want to adapt it. I wouldn't want to adapt it. And like same thing with Power Rangers. Like people ask me, I mean, would you ever want Tokuger to be adapted to Power? No, I don't want an adaptation for it. I don't want an adaptation for it. It's perfect the way that it is. So I'll leave it as it is. How would you like a Dino Fury episode where Javier has a little concert with his music? His dad sees his performance, starts to see who he. Hold on. How would you like a Dino Fury episode where Javier has a little concert with his music? His dad sees his performance, starts to see him for who he is, and apologizes for not supporting him all this time and for favoring Izzy more instead of loving them equally. I mean, yeah, I would love to see that, but I'm sure Javi's dad has seen him play music a bajillion times, and it's frustrating to him, right? Like he saw him performing in the park. And instead of taking a step back and was like, "Hey, I saw your performance, your great stuff," he said, "No, give me that shit. What are you spending your money on? $100? I don't remember how much he spent on the keytar, but trust me, his dad has had plenty of time, I think, to see his performances, to see him play, and he's not impressed. He's not impressed at all, yanking his shit out of his hands. So I feel like we've seen it before. I'm not expecting that from him. Would I like to see an episode? I feel like we got that, and he still wasn't impressed. But I see what you're saying, like a little mini concert and stuff. I just don't think seeing him as part of a concert compared to seeing him in the park playing for more than a handful of people who came around to support him and love what he was doing. Like if Warden Garcia is a dick enough to like stomp on everybody's fun, like be the fun police for a big group of people surrounding his son, yeah, he's gonna kick the doors down on that little mini concert for sure. Why don't you like Justin the Blue Ranger from Turbo at all? I think this just comes from a really deep jealousy issue that I had as a kid growing up. Like, how the fuck did this little kid become a Power Ranger and I'm not a fucking Power Ranger? Um, I think there might have been some jealousy back in the day for me as a kid. And I also, the moment I saw this kid grow into a grown ass man, it immediately just took all sorts of belief away from me. It's crazy because as much as I've seen Power Rangers do some crazy ass things in its life, especially in its early seasons with MMPR. I mean, just from the plethora of crazy ass characters and storylines that they've seen, the concept of seeing a little boy turn into a grown ass man shouldn't be that far fetched. But for some reason, when I watched it, I'm like, get the fuck out of here. So I just was not. He's just annoying to me sometimes. Like, what the fuck? Why are like all these grown ass people hanging out with this little boy and stuff? Like, it just didn't make no damn sense to me. I think that's what it is. A mixture of jealousy, a mixture of is just jump the shark, and it's just hard to wrap my head around the idea that all these grown ass people would be hanging out with this little kid like he's the coolest shit in the town. Like, nah, I'm good. I'm good. Let's see. AJ, he's got a couple questions. What's up, AJ? How excited are you? He says Justin literally shrinks when he takes off his helmet. That's what I'm talking about, man. Like, nah, that's just nah. I mean, listen, it could be, listen, I I pay no attention when Doggy Kruger's face just gets smashed into his helmet. Like, they don't need to explain that to me. But somebody needs to explain fucking Justin growing from a little kid back into a grown ass man back into a little kid. For some reason, I won't let that fly after all these years. Now he's just annoying to me. I was just not a fan. AJ, how excited are you for the rest of Dino Fury season 1 coming to Netflix next month? Do you think that the 12 to 22 coming, does that mean that season 2 will come maybe a little bit earlier around December on Netflix as we learn from Chance Perez, or perhaps in January? Well, he said next year, I believe. I believe he said season 2 next year will be on Netflix. So no, I'm not expecting, like, no, Asia, you want it all now, don't you? He's like, look, I know it's October and we're getting season 1, but can I get season 2 also by December? Nah, I'm thinking they're gonna give us a couple months hiatus. I think whatever release date plan that they might have had for, say, Nickelodeon for season 2, or how we've seen the past season 2s be released, I have a feeling they'll probably will stick with that mindset, and maybe give us a new season like March or April. What were some of your favorite episodes or moments in Beast Morphers? And do you think maybe in future episodes of Dino Fury, Chance might actually sing on the show, which would allow Gordon Garcia to realize Javi is passionate about music? Yeah, the singing aspect would be cool to see him incorporate, right? Like, not just playing the instruments, but like literally singing. I do wonder if that's maybe what what they were just referring to in the previous question, like if we saw him sort of like in a mini concert where maybe he's singing too on top of doing his music, maybe the singing will be like, bring him some awareness. um but I don't know. So yeah, I do hope that we see Chance get the opportunity to sing for sure. Some of my favorite episodes or moments in Beast Morphers, definitely the musical episode. I absolutely loved it. It's still my favorite episode of the Neil Saban era, based off of just the creativity, the balls, the uniqueness, the effort that went into that episode alone, giving us something new and fresh that we hadn't really seen before. So that's definitely up there with one of my favorite episodes. I really love the date episode with Nate and Zoe, them bumping to each other at the movie theaters and going to go ahead and see the movie for itself. That's where we get our Karen of the season. Um, I absolutely love that. Even love the Gold Ranger episode, like the end of season 1. Love the episode of Devin actually going into the digital world to go ahead and save his father. There's some really great moments in this season, in this show for sure. Even love the episode of Roxy um and Ravi, where she's like trying to play up to his feelings and things like that, right? Love that episode. Even was a big fan of the Ravi's mom finding out for the first time, like off of his painted mural on the wall. Yeah, man. Absolutely love this. There's a lot. There's a lot of great episodes in Beast Morphers. If COVID never happened and we still got big team ups, who knows if we get small ones in season 2? Do you think it would suffer the same fate as past crossovers and the Neo Saban era and Beast Morphers, with being too short and rushed, or perhaps with Simon Bennett now as a showrunner, it could probably make it even better with more original footage and less Sentai? Can I make a bold statement here? I absolutely think, um, if COVID never happened, AJ, that our team ups would have been in a completely different format. I would even go so far as to say, well, you know what? I might take that back. I might take that back. I do wonder if the format of the team episodes is based solely off of Nickelodeon and how they want their shows formatted, like single episode that you can wrap up in one episode without, branching it out into two-parter sort of thing. There is something that tells me the Power Ranger formula and Nickelodeon might have kept it the same. But damn, if I wouldn't expect Simon Bennett to actually have paid attention to what the fans have been complaining about for the longest time. Because the fact that Simon Bennett has said in the past that, look, there are things that I personally would like to improve upon and change, would not surprise me if the idea of team ups maybe at least giving them a 2-episode arc to reach out the storytelling just a little bit, a little slightly. I think so. I think if you look at the storytelling format for like the last season of Beast Morphers, a lot of those episodes definitely do have some connective tissues, leading up to the big team up. So even though the team up itself with the return of Austin only had, say, was only one episode long, the build up to it was a really nice majority of season two, I felt like. So I do think that Simon Bennett probably would have tried to, even if we couldn't have gotten a season two or a two-parter, it would not surprise me if he did put forth the work to build up to that moment so that it feels like a fuller story that they're trying to tell. You know what I mean? So it wouldn't surprise me. I definitely do think you're probably onto something, AJ. I do think that Simon Bennett would have done something significantly different. All right, guys. I think other than that, I think that's it. I think that's going to be it for us, guys. So thank you very much for certainly joining us today with all your great live viewer questions. Um, I'm just trying to see if there's any comments here. Oh, Isaiah says, "Hey Adam, can I DM you something? It's going to be about Power Rangers." Yeah, you can go ahead and DM me. That's fine. I will say this, guys. For people that do DM me or message me and things like that from time to time, that's cool. I certainly have no problems with it. But I am a very busy man in regards to just not only life, but a full-time job and also trying to prep things for some of our shows throughout the week. So if I'm not able to get back to you immediately, or if I'm not able to respond, don't get upset. I definitely will respond whenever I certainly can. So don't necessarily feel like you got to bombard me every day with questions or things like that. I definitely will respond when I certainly can. But yeah, other than that, guys, I think that's gonna do it for us here. Let's see here. Anything last minute? No, I think Kimchi had a question, but I think that was in regards, yeah, that was in regards to the announcement, which we cleared out at the beginning at the top of this episode. So other than that, guys, that's definitely gonna be it for us. But listen, as we get more information throughout this particular week, as we get closer to Dino Fury with brand new episodes on Nickelodeon or over on Netflix, we definitely will go ahead and keep you guys posted. If anything, I would recommend. I did send you something Turbo. I think you missed it. No, I don't think you said I sent you something for Turbo. I'm pretty sure I spoke about it. If that was like your how I would if yours was the how you would, yeah, how I would do Power Rangers Turbo. It was a whole email. I totally caught that, Adam. Maybe you missed it, but I definitely talked about it and brought it up for you. So yeah, you might have to go back and check it out, but it is up there. Definitely answered your question. But yeah, guys, we definitely will keep you up to date as new episodes drop. If there's a suggestion I have, guys, in the comment section after this particular video airs, definitely go ahead and let me know how you guys think I should roll out some of these particular reviews if they're going to be dropping on Netflix. Should I still just follow the Nickelodeon schedule and drop them week after week after week, keeping up with how Nickelodeon is reviewing it? Should I do 3 episodes a week at a time? Because there's no way I'm about to drop 10 episodes all in one week, guys. There's just no way. It's not happening. But if you guys can come up with some creative ways for me to go ahead and release these reviews once it happens, definitely go ahead and let me know your thoughts in the live, or excuse me, in the comment section box below. And then your thoughts on some of the articles that we certainly talked about in here as well. But yeah, guys, thank you very much for all your thoughts. Until then, we'll certainly see you guys next week. But as always, do me a big favor. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and as always, keep it A+. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. If you enjoy our content and want to be a part of helping our channel grow, become a patron supporter. We have affordable tiers to choose from that offer a variety of exclusive and early access content, from audio files for all of our shows for you to enjoy on the road, access to our Discord community, and plenty of reactions, reviews, character breakdowns, and more. Check us out at patreon.com/A+opinions. And as always, remember, like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification so anytime we drop a brand new video, you will be notified.